First, we wanted to ask you, how did the name Crocus came about and what does it mean?
Well, crocus is the name of a flower, the first flower in spring, and the original founder member, Mr. Thomas Kiefer, God rest his soul, was an old hippie like me, and of course hippies love flowers, so you know, apart from having the name rock inside it, it's also the name of a flower, so why not?
Being here in Malta, which you are originally from Malta, obviously, was Cinnamon Heads your first band when you were a teenager?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, first they were called the Icicles, and I said, hey, what's that got to do with hot rock and roll? So we changed to Cinnamon Hades, which means cinnamon taste of hell, you know.
And the next thing we wanted to know, actually, you left Malta and went abroad and eventually ended up in Switzerland. How did you end up in Switzerland finally?
Well, I went to London because, you know, Malta was a part of a Commonwealth. We grow up here speaking Maltese and English.
Right.
And so London is somehow closer than Rome. So I went to London and I was hoping to join the rock and roll scene there, but you know, it was more like the dying end of something, and I felt like I missed the boat really, because you know, people like Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Mark Bolan were dead, and the Beatles were splitting up, and the film Let It Be came out, and it was a depressing time actually for somebody whose idols are all dying. So anyway, I had a stroke of luck and met this pretty girl from Switzerland, and I thought, well, pretty girl, beautiful country, here I go. And then I bumped into this manager of a band, and it was artsy-fartsy band, you know, like Yes, Genesis type of stuff, and I joined Def. We were called Def, for the first 7 months in Switzerland. That's how it started.
Right. And Def had the same roadie as a band called T.
Yes,
and so the progression came there, Renee.
Yeah, Renee Tinner.
Right. And the reason why we talk about T is Malta is most probably on our stop of the Hellraiser tour with Crocus. Malta is most probably the greatest fan of T up to today, and it's very well celebrated here. And so the question comes up, T, you recorded 3 albums with them plus the best of there. How, that was obviously a stepping stone there with T, because I went to the professional level there. Was that a stepping stone sort of further on down the road for Crocus? The irony is also, Crocus used to be a supporting act of T at those times there.
Yeah, that was the last T tour actually, when we took Crocus along. And yes, T was my first step into the professional world of recording, having a professional manager called Peter Valti.
So a long time together, over 35 years, and so it's just like the circle.
We turned full
circle. We turned full circle actually. T and Crocus now together.
Yes, and we had, you know, great opportunities with a producer of the level of the Scorpions, Mr. Dieter Dierks.
Right.
He went to Cologne and did 3 albums there, and toured all over Europe, all the way up to Scotland and into Wales, and in Germany all the way up to Hamburg. And you know, it was really the beginning of the professional part of my career.
Right. And those of you that are, just to add on, and you might want to add something too, I still have proud moments because T played at the world famous Marquee Club in London, which is no longer really today there, and that was one of really the staples. If somebody would play there, that was pretty much a huge highlight there, because all big bands, whether it's Led Zeppelin or anybody else, have played there. Do you still remember that?
Of course I do. Doing the Marquee Club was also very special, being in the big city of London, and kind of for me it was returning, you know, after that year I'd done there, and I came back with this incredible band, and we turned the people on, and it was something I was really proud of, the Marquee Club.
Progressing with your musical career after Tea, you went to London, and how did that come about with Metal Rendezvous? That was your first album with Crocus that you recorded, and I believe you weren't really too motivated to come back to Switzerland and record with Crocus.
Well, you know, in London I had my own band going, Easy Money, which is very ironic actually.
Easy Money, yeah.
And so I just didn't want to just jump, you know, I didn't just jump up to it, you know. I wanted to know, first of all, listen to the music of Crocus, what they were doing. So I received their albums and a demo of some songs they had, new songs, to see which direction they wanted to go. And that sounded pretty promising. And of course I had memories of, you know, some hard times I went through in the tea days in Switzerland. And besides, you know, I was a married man and had my life going in London. Didn't want to just drop it all at the drop of a hat.
Right.
So we agreed. I flew down for a weekend. We had a great weekend jamming, and we agreed that we could try it out for 6 months to a year, and then decide before doing a final contract. It all worked well, and Metal Rendezvous was a big hit straight away all over Europe, and I was amazed what followed.
Right. And along with that, going further, Metal Rendezvous, you toured all over Europe, the Reading Festival, very renowned as well, and then you embarked on your first tour to the United States, which was, I think, the biggest thing for a Swiss band ever, to go to the States and tour. Do you go back with us in time there and share with us those feelings that you had coming from small Switzerland on your first US tour?
Yeah, first of all, it was great to be back in England, this time with Crocus instead of Tea, and doing a festival of that magnitude, you know, Reading Festival. And the way we were received was like, for me, the final confirmation that we were ready to hop over to the USA. And it was an amazing feat, you know, an amazing feeling, even inside the band, because we were climbing the ladder really fast.
Up there, yep. 1981, you released Hardware with Crocus, and although Mandy Meyer didn't play on that, he was at that time your bandmate, replacing Tommy Kiefer through that tour. You still remember that? Because today he's in the current lineup again.
He's back, yeah. And unfortunately with Tommy, it was a sad thing because of his problem with drugs, that we had to leave him home after the first US tour, where we kept losing him from the bus. And
that happened recently too, didn't it?
Yeah, sometimes it happens.
It's that circle we talked about that just repeats itself.
Full circle. Always carry the bus driver's mobile number.
That's right. Lesson to be learned.
So yeah, it was a sad moment there, you know, when Tommy left the band. That was the first band member change since I joined in '79. And yeah, we replaced Tommy with Mandy Meyer, and Mandy was still 19 then, and a very spirited young lad, and very keen, and you know, as always, you know. And we went on the Hardware tour, 1981, 1982, went through the USA and Europe, and it was something which stayed in my mind, and I carried on my friendship with Mandy, kept going on.